thank you, everybody. And for the new faces, obviously, we know them, but we haven't seen them in a while. I'm very happy that you're all here. Uh, Super thank you. All big thank you. And for those who arranged this session one more time, it's been a little bit sketchy for the last couple of weeks, obviously. We're all affected by our brother DeGarmo, and it's no secret. Uh, I think he would outlive all of us for the amount of prayers and love he has. So don't worry about him. He's going to be okay. We know that our prayers are being heard. Thank you, Sister Julie, and of course, Minu and everybody who's assisting. Let's get going. I do have good news and bad news today. So my name is Ash MUFAREH. I'm live from Orlando, Florida now, and I hope this will be great. So now that we're done with the good news, let's move on to the bad news. I'm kidding. There's never bad news in ONPASSIVE, all right? At least from my side. Okay. And Brother Chris, I'm going to kind of like clarify. That's what I do. Always I clean up after you. Basically, there's no low moment. I haven't been low, okay? Just circumstances and, you know, some challenges in the business. But I've been always high. That sounds like really illegal. I've never been that high, okay? So, but I've been spiritually and mentally, I'm always positive. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I'm gonna get going by the very first clarification. We have been in touch for the last couple of weeks, which is great. There's some probably light and insight and clarity on the direction moving ahead, but certainly with the limitation or with the I would say conservation of what we can say and cannot say at the moment. There's absolutely some vague or kind of like dark areas or gray areas are unclear, and that's what we will continue, clearing for you, so that you would have, hopefully at some point soon, a crystal clear vision and clarity, so you can better plan your life. Okay, so so far what we've been doing, giving you updates about mostly what happened and hinting that there is a potential drastic change in the future. We have been emphasizing that we've decided change is necessary, and we took action to do that. Okay, and one of the changes, okay, or the main, I would say, strategies we are following now, that we will no longer be telling you what's coming in terms of like details and ahead of our times. We certainly will tell you when things happen, we'll update you in that. And one of the good thoughts, okay, it's only a style that we decided to do it in such a way we will be a few steps ahead in terms of the development, and I'm not just talking about the IT or the technicality. I'm talking about whatever is happening. We will be telling you, okay, a few steps back. I'm going to kind of like re-emphasize this analogy one more time. When we are, I said it before, just in case, if you're hearing it for the first time, if we are in progress in the operation, okay, we are at step 20, very much likely you would be hearing about 15. We're not going to be talking about 20 when we are actually in 20. We'll talk about 20 possibly when we're, don't take it exact, okay, but it could be 25 or a few steps ahead, okay? Some steps are giant. Some steps are, not going to be that severe. So to put this in a realistic, practical perspective, as of now, I haven't talked about step one. All what we're doing so far and have done in the last couple of weeks, we're preparing you mentally for step one. You haven't heard anything about step one. Certainly, as a company, as a business, in terms of our vision, we're not at step one. Now, before that, we're way past step one and two and three, to be clear. But I haven't talked about step one so far, just to be clear. And I'm going to tell you this one, somebody's going to get mad at me, but it's okay. Sometimes you have to piss off someone to make it easier for everybody else, all right? It's okay. So a genius fella, okay, yesterday emailed that concerns about the next project. The only concern I have is about your mental ability. That person, not you, okay? Because I haven't talked about something and we haven't seen it. How could you have concerns about it? So it's all your delusional invention is to worry about something that may never happen the way you're thinking. So allow it to happen. Focus with me, or as our brother Bob says, focus, okay? Focus. Okay, I cannot say it the same way, but focus in the moment. All right, we are here trying to prepare you for step one. Step one, okay, is to move on to something you've never seen and something that we have never talked about. So how could you have some doubts and questions? So let's be clear. We haven't talked about step one. All what we're doing, we're clarifying or just educating you and informing you the things that happened, okay, about step two. I'm sorry, about, the past. So before we go to that, that's something that, we need to make clear. So, and we owe you the explanation, okay? And since that time, technically around the same time we started working on ONPASSIVE, I've been inspired or influenced somehow by their tenacity and their persistence to succeed and further and do it right, okay, every time. And every time we've attempted to do something and like prepare for the launch, in my mind, I say, you know what, this could blow up. So I can scrub it so we can do it safely and I reschedule. I've said it to you before many, many times. We prepare to open something or to launch it, and I didn't sign up on that. I didn't approve it. So you didn't know, but it doesn't mean it was not prepared, or there was no work, or it was no challenges and all that. That was kept away. When we finally have something to show, and again, the very last attempt was in September 2023 when we launched OConnect. Technically the first paid product out to the public, or at least given a priority as promised to our founding members from ONPASSIVE that we've been working for, in the background for a few years before until it went to the public. Forgive me for this exact analogy, but it would make sense to you if you just understand that when you want to launch something, it's worth to say that it's not guaranteed to go well the first attempt. It doesn't mean a failure. It's an attempt. It's a try. It's a test. When it's something big, okay, there's so many variables and aspects involved, there is a high risk of something breaking. Do you want to talk about, legal challenges that were, we got to deal with that in the background? Do we want to talk about some ethical challenges from incompetent managers? Do we want to talk about other things, were basically deceiving us from our own team on both sides, company internally and our users? So all that played to give us, and I wasn't, very motivated at the level of what do you call it, technical quality. But I compromised to say you gotta have to go through step 1 in order to go to step 2 and 3 and 5. You have to go that mile and then apply all the lessons. I wasn't certain that this is definitely it, and just, okay. From that time, immediately after opening OConnect, I realized this is not the ideal team. Simple thing. There when I hired a CFO that I said, okay, I need these 20. I didn't say find 20 different payment processors. I said, use these 20. Line them up, A, B, C, D, all the alphabet, okay? So I can have that. They got a couple of years in preparation, and we were delayed from 2022, if you remember, the World Cup in Qatar in November, until technically 10 years later, 23, when we opened for payments, right? And we didn't even have a proper payout. It was just something so manual. They had a couple of years in preparation and didn't do that. So I knew we're not prepared enough, so I wasn't pushing more payments. That's why I made it 3 years, and I didn't renew. I didn't charge again. All those things, because I just don't want to collect money for something I'm not passionate about. So it did blow up when we just launched, just like that rocket. Does it mean we failed? Absolutely not. I refuse to say we failed. Now, we're going to have another launch, right? Technically, do you think we just will load it up like another rocket and just throw it in the sky? That's not how it works. There's so much that you have to apply in your operation until you go to the next launch. Now, the good news and the bad news. The bad news first, okay? Take the unpleasant away. This is like a leadership style. A lot of people, they like, to do the unpleasant first. Like you do your salad first, then the steak, and then dessert, all of that. Let's do, the same style, and then, but occasionally I like the good, beautiful, sweet news first, basically dessert first, and then we talk about salad and whatever, if we have room for that. But the unpleasant part that scientifically is good. Let me just say it before that, but in reality, it's so much loss and losses, which is that launch that blew up is not reusable. And there's no possible way that you can repair it, stitch it, and let's go back. That includes ONPASSIVE, that includes OConnect, ecosystem, all of that. I'm talking about the same business, the complete business model. If this language is a little bit, indirect or not as friendly for some of you. I know many of you understand me so good. Don't worry, there are better people who will explain it to you in plain English and like simple terms to unpack it. And you will get it, all right? But understand that we cannot use the same exact business model, the same exact technology, the same exact code and all of that and fix it and just blow it up again. That potentially is just going to blow up. It's going to, not work. Not going to use the word fail, okay? But that will be insane because we're going to repeat the same thing and expect different outcome or different results. It's not going to happen that way. Gotta change. Got to change. Now, when I tell you we're going to move on to a different chapter, a different direction, all that, logically, all right, I'm going to use that word again, you have to apply all the lessons learned from that attempt, plus behind the scene thing. So one thing, can you do it with the same people that they deceived you in the first place? That's insanity. Can you do it in the same place or location? Duh. All right. And can you use the same code and try to fix it that I was not thrilled in the first place with? It doesn't mean it's bad or you didn't put the effort or the engineers in the first round, they didn't do their best. This is what we've achieved. Same thing with that rocket. Are they bad? No. It just, this is what they've achieved. There are lessons. You have to consider them. Cannot do them again. Or you're going to have the same results. So are you understanding that how crucial it is for us to change? We've got to change dramatically, not a little bit, completely. Where we were working took us to a certain level. Now, here's where I'm going to tie this up all together. Okay, then we move on to the good news. Okay, now the things that went wrong or didn't succeed in the first place, they're a part of the journey. Let me apply that again. SpaceX couldn't go to where they are today without blowing up some rockets in the first place. Without that, that's a major step and part of the overall process. That major vision still there intact as space exploration, invading, or, going, traveling, if you want to say, to other planets, still there. We haven't achieved it yet, by the way. There's so many steps, like millions of steps in the operation to get to the first step to launch that didn't go well, but mentally it's accepted because it's a part of the journey. If hadn't they blow up the first 2, 3 rockets, right? I'm talking about those like official launches. Imagine how many like models and prototypes and things that just we didn't even know about in the early stages. Hadn't they, like let's say, didn't succeed in those 3 launches prior to the fourth one, which was a success. If they went and it went 1, 2, 3, 4 rockets, let's say, fine. What if we got to the point where we had the Dragon rocket, right, or shuttle, basically, that we inhabited with occupied with astronauts, and then it blew up. It's a good thing that you blow up. Sorry, for that term, but it is what it is. Okay, break before you get as big, and then you get over your head and you believe that's it, you got it, and then things will blow. Okay, let me put that in on passive perspective. If we went live with crooks and thieves back in 2023, we start making sales of roughly $100 million, which is technically that was our pace in the first month. It's been, what, a year and a half now? Okay. Yeah, a year and a half. 18 months, that's 1.8 billion, I guess, something like 2 billion, give or take. And now they decided to, rate on the man robbery that they did. Thank God it was back then. They could have waited because they fooled us, right? To a point, they could have waited, but God is greater. So everything went is normal, is natural, is realistic. Nothing is unique to us. When you build something big, it doesn't mean it's going to work the first attempt. And that first attempt that it doesn't work is not a good success or not you really shatter the world, right? It it is a part of the process. You cannot skip it. There's no shortcut. It's like everything about our life. There's no shortcut to success. There's no shortcut about launching, let's say potentially the largest AI IT company. How could you do that without learning curves in the beginning?